Well, Hospital Porter's Pride and Dignity stopped the New World Order. Welcome to Hapanwo TV. Right, slight postscript to my my report on the Leeds Exopolitics Expo 2011 is my pile of souvenirs. I'm going to go through those like I always do. And before I begin, there's been a bit of news. Now, what I often find at these conferences, and this happened at the Now That's Weird conference in Glastonbury and many others, is sometimes newsworthy events tend to happen just before or during these conferences. And as I explained on Friday morning, there was a stock market crash on Thursday night, which is the evening before the conference, quite remarkably. But there was also something else happened, actually. Some more news was announced yesterday, which is remarkable and very relevant. There was an incident in Afghanistan in which a special forces unit was attacked and all its members, or most of its members, were killed. Now, this special forces unit was apparently the same one that is supposed to have killed Osama bin Laden, when of course they didn't. It was all faked. But apparently they were killed by the Taliban, but were they? You know, so that's a bit suspicious there. You know, the very same unit that carried out this faked attack and death of bin Laden is now, the men involved are now dead. Very strange. Anyway, on with the souvenirs. First one, the Emergence Quarterly. Now, a lady handed this to me. I was just sitting in the walking through the foyer in this thing called Share International. Maitreya, as he appeared out of the blue to thousands near Nairobi, Kenya, June 1988. Now, this is a publication by someone called Benjamin Creme. Creme spelled C-R-E-M-E. Now, I remember Gerard Atta talked about this guy, so it's probably related to the kind of cargo cult part of the UFO business, along with Richard Lawrence and the Aetherius Society and things like that. So I'll have a look through this, but I don't expect to really enjoy it very much. So I'll have a look through it anyway. This is my pendant badge with my little sort of passes, my general admission passes there for each day. That's Sunday. There's also Saturday and Friday. Now this pendant here, this plastic pendant and lanyard, we were supposed to return it yesterday to Tony and the other organisers. I didn't do that. I forgot to, but that's good because it gives me an opportunity to go back to the auditorium before I go home, and maybe I'll be able to do a bit of filming in the auditorium and show you what I wanted to do earlier and couldn't, which was the auditorium. So that's I'll do that later. This is some bookmarks here, or illustrati. Look at that, illustrati. A day of secret handshakes and hand stars. This is advertising an art event last year in Nottingham, and I've used this as a bookmark because I think it's quite appropriate kind of imagery there. You know. There's another bookmark there. It's the Inner Bookshop bookmark. Now, you get brilliant things from the Inner Bookshop, innerbookshop.com. You want any decent books on aliens, UFOs, etc., mysteries, that's the place to go. Right, that's an orange. I don't know what that's doing in my bag. Oh, I think I might have picked it up, or Stain picked it up the other day. It's been in my bag ever since. I'll probably eat that before I go home. AD, After Disclosure. A People's Guide to Life After Contact. Richard Dolan and Bryce Zabel. Forward by Jim Mars. Brilliant. Now, this is a book I have been after for ages, ever since I first learned of its publication last year. But you can't get this for love nor money in Britain. It's basically it's the latest book which they've signed for me. See, look, Richard has signed it there. Bless his heart. And this is Bryce. Always watch the skies. Good, Bryce has signed it as well. I've spoken to these guys about this book, and I'm speaking on. Oh, look, I've got their bookmark is Dark Skies. That's Bryce Zabel's TV series. I remember watching many years ago. He signed it for me there as well. It's stained a little bit on there. Never mind. But Dark Skies is Bryce's TV series, which is about UFOs and things like that. Now, if you want to buy this on Amazon UK, it's about 120 quid. You can get it on Kindle, much cheaper. But I could have done that, you know, and I read it much sooner. But, you know, I have something of a sentimental and conservative
streak when it comes to books. I like a good old-fashioned paper book that I can pick up and flip the pages and things like that. Kindle doesn't, you know, you can't get that on a screen. And bloody Kindle. Also, they can go wrong. Kindles can go wrong, and if they go wrong, you're buggered. Basically, these books can't go wrong unless you set fire to them or throw them down the toilet or something. So I don't want it. Well, also, Ian R. Crane actually mentioned, not in this speech, but in one of his other speeches, that the name Kindle. What does Kindle mean? Why is it called Kindle? And he said that Kindle actually means firewood. And that's very interesting, isn't it? Because they used to burn books. Do you remember? And it's the cipher of barbarism. The Nazis burning all the Einstein's books and things like that because he was Jewish. But of course with Kindle they don't have to burn them, they just press a button and these books disappear. And apparently some people have reported that George Orwell's 1984 has been vanishing from Kindle. So I've got a good old-fashioned copy of AD After Disclosure, and I've been after this book for bloody ages. The good news is it is going to be published in Britain very soon. This is, at the moment, is one of the few copies in the country which I've managed to get hold of. It is going to be published very soon in Britain, and Richard and Bryce have a distributor and they have a publisher. So very soon you'll be able to read it too, if you don't want to read it on Kindle. An Invitation to the Dance by Stephen Jones. Now, I've discussed Stephen Jones. His speech he gave. I've read the review of this book on UFO Matrix, and now the magazine looks like it's going to become defunct pretty soon. The subtitle is The Awakening of the Extended Human Family. And there's this wonderful picture here on the front, this lovely painting, which is very, very nice. And I just, it has nothing, the picture itself has nothing to do with ETs, and you wouldn't know this was an ET book. There's Stephen there, and his... Now there's no imprint because this is self-published, but apparently he calls it Little Star Publishing. It's a self-published book, and he signed it there. See, Little Star is the name of one of the aliens he encounters with. Anyway, Ustane is reading this first. It's her book really because she wanted it, so Ustane's going to read that first. Right, X Conference 2010 DVD. Paul Stonehill. Now it's very good. I actually got this off Stephen Bassett, and he lent me the money to buy it, and I paid him back later. Paul Stonehill is actually Russian, despite his English-sounding name, and he's very, very interesting indeed. He co-wrote a book with Philip Mantle about Russian UFOs. Russia is the place to look to for UFO evidence now. There's some because they went through the turmoil of the end of the Soviet Union and communism, the destruction of communism about 21 years ago with Gorbachev and everything and Yeltsin. There's a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos, and a lot of top secret files found their way onto the black market, and there's some amazing videos of crashed UFOs, there's alien autopsies, which are likely to be a lot more likely to be true than a lot of the stuff coming out the West. So if you want to find out UFO evidence, look east, look to Russia. That's the place, man, I'll tell you. As I say, it's not about lights in the sky, it's about lies on the ground. Very true. So I'll look forward to watching that. That's something to watch when I get to Ustane's place. That's where I'll be uploading these. This is Richard D. Hall's new video. It's called The Bedouin UFO Cover-Up Exposed. Now, as you know, I've written about this. I've reviewed Andy Roberts' book. I'll put a link in the description box to my review of Andy Roberts' book. Apparently, if you put in UFO Down into Google, UFO Down by Andy Roberts, the very first hit you get is my review. And basically, Andy Roberts is saying this is a case closed. There's no UFO, nothing extraterrestrial. I'm saying no way, there was. And what's more, Richard and his friend and our mutual friend Scott Felton has found evidence that there was an extraterrestrial encounter on the Bedouin Mountains in Wales in January 1974. There's these people who saw objects on the ground from Llandrillo and Llanderfel and these other areas were not lying. They were not deluded. They didn't think they were not poachers' lights any more than they were bloody weather balloons or lighthouses. It's real. And what's more, in 2 years' time, in less than 2 years' time, it will be the 40th anniversary of this remarkable UFO event. And I said to Richard last night when I was speaking to him, you know, we need to do something about that. We need to do something to mark that event, have a conference or something like they did at Rendlesham Forest last year. So I'm going to look forward very much to reading this. That's Scott there. That's Scott, and there's pictures from Llandrillo and the surrounding area. That's Margaret Fry, another brilliant ufologist who's working to uncover this event. So I look forward to that. Right, this is a magazine, a journal of the ASAP. This is the Association for the Scientific Study of Anomalous Phenomena. I've joined ASAP, which I've been meaning to do for a long time, because it looks like a very good organisation. Really, all kinds of stuff in here. I mean, it's a mixture of skeptic and believer type stuff. I mean, it's very like the Weird Conference, you know, which is sort of like it's quite mixed in terms of skeptic believer. But that's good because it generates more controversy, which is very, very interesting. And they've got a conference coming up in, well, I think it's next month. Yeah, it's the 10th and 11th of September, which I'll be going to. I'd already booked the time off work actually because I was going to go to Charlie Veitch's End of Fear event on September the 11th. But I imagine now with the new turn that Charlie Veitch has taken that event is now cancelled. So I look forward to that. Project Zion, a presentation by Ian R. Crane, recorded Santa Cruz, California on the 15th of May last year. Now I want to see this because this is one of Ian's I haven't seen before, and Ian recommended it to me. I bought 3 DVDs for £20. That's something me and Stane are going to settle down in front of the TV with tonight, I think. There's another one, BP Population Reduction. This was actually what, if you remember my report on well, it's a full-length feature film actually about Glastonbury last year. I'll put a link in the description box. I actually saw this live, but I remember it was very good, so I'm glad I've got that on DVD. I've already got a copy of this somewhere, but it's always good to have a second one because I can keep this at Staines' house. This is from AV3, The Green Agenda and Population Reduction. So that's another one to watch. What's this book? Believing Bullshit by Stephen Law. How not to get sucked into an intellectual black hole. Ah, yes, this is the book I've been reading. Well, I think I'll probably stop reading it for a while to read AD, then go back to it. This is a skeptical book, and I plan to be reviewing this as well, and I don't expect to give it a very, very glowing critique. But I always like to listen to both sides of the story. I read skeptical literature. I go to skeptical events. So I went to TAM London last year. So you know, no one can say I'm brainwashed or only looking at one side of the story. I look at both sides of the story. This is one of the ASAP newsletters. ASAP. It's the 30th anniversary of ASAP, and here is it's been going for a long time. This organisation. It's run by Reverend Lionel Fanthorpe, who's an amazing geezer. I'll look forward to the conference enormously. I look forward to reading this. You know, this is very, very, very good. The big issue. Oh, I picked that up in the street the other day. I always read the big issue. This is another ASAP newsletter, ASAP News. John Downes on cryptozoology. Yeah, I love Jonathan Downes. He's a very, very good writer. And there's another conference, The Weird Weekend. Oh, I'd love to go to that. As you see, this is a back issue. This is from last year, but I'd love to go to. Seriously Strange. That's the name of the conference. I want to go to that. Look forward to that next year. Not long now. There's Jonathan Downes. He's very good. So I'll be very much looking forward to that. Here's I'll just show a quick look through the inside of the newsletter. You know, this is I met some of these people actually. It was just very nice. David, well, I spoke to him, yeah. And there's Fanthorpe there. So it looks really interesting. I mean, like I said, this is these people are serious about what they're doing. I think when you're investigating paranormal phenomena, and they don't even like the word paranormal, they prefer anomalous. You know, you have to be sensible and level-headed about it, and I am. As I said, I have two sides to my personality. I'm a bit of a fantasist and a bit of a visionary, but I like to keep my feet on the ground. I have my eyes in the skies and my feet on the ground, as Richard Hall says. So that is my list of souvenirs for this 2011 Leeds Exopolitics Expo. I better go over to the auditorium now and return my plastic pendant with my part in it, and hopefully I'll be able to film inside the auditorium and show you where I spent the last 3 days.
Thanks for watching Apanwo TV. Hospital Porter's pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order.